Today, I have a couple of things that I want to address. Some things that I was asked to address. Apparently, I didn't address this enough. The first thing I want to talk to is the Spaza shops. I want to address the Spaza shop issues that we've been having in South Africa. I see, and this is another thing, bear this in mind again. How I feel like is insignificant to the facts, right? To the facts is insignificant. So I want to stick to things that are factual. And then here and there, I'm going to speculate on my own opinion, of course. Maybe my feelings too about things. But how I feel like is insignificant to the facts about issues. So I'm trying to stick to that idea. Because many people tend to mix how they feel like with reality and facts and how things are supposed to be done. So I'm going to try to avoid that by all means. Now, one question that people have been on me about is, Mlondi, what is your opinion on the Spaza shop issues in South Africa? What is the issue? Okay, the issue is people are saying, of course, it's been on the news, which began January this year, actually. Like, there is reports that started January of 2024. 441 cases that are reported on food contamination, mainly affecting kids age of 6 to 10, and 23 kids died from this issue, Spaza shops selling expired goods, old stuff and whatnot. 23 kids died, and 441 cases are open, right, regarding food contamination. Cool. Okay. One thing that I was curious about was, it's so interesting to me how this issue was just so much on the news, but which made me start to pay attention, to the issue is, this issue seems to be happening in particular areas, though, like spaces. So the places here that I found where this issue, that all these reports are coming from, is Ekurhuleni, Joburg, and West Rand. So these areas are like Gauteng areas. So the province that's really having this hard is Gauteng. But the way it is reported, it was almost like, it's more like a pandemic everywhere in the country. But now looking into it, it's just that it's all over the news. But now looking into it, it's only in Gauteng, really, where this is happening, more than any other place in South Africa. Any other places still have foreigners who are selling goods and Spaza shops and whatnot, but it's mostly Gauteng that is having this issue with kids dying and whatnot, and the reports of these cases. So about 80 to 90% of the cases are from Gauteng. So the problem is in Gauteng, rather than the problem being all over the country. Okay, there's some reports in Cape Town, right? But it's not as significant, really, to a point whereby one will say it's a pandemic, So I just want to stick to that as facts. But then I'm interested as to why is it reported so much, like as this big pandemic? I'm not sure, really. It's still bad. I'm not going to lie. But I'm thinking, because why also now? Because this has been going on for some time. For a longest time, actually, in South Africa, we've had foreigners, makula, as people will say, selling fake products, especially cool drinks and snacks, fake products. They've been doing this for a longest time. But only recently then this is causing kids to die and all these cases that are being opened. And only recently it's covered so much by the media. And the way it is represented is as if like it's a problem, a big issue, like in the whole of South Africa in terms of kids dying. It's a big issue in terms of the fake goods for sure. Because in the whole of South Africa, coolers are selling fake goods. That's for sure. I've been almost everywhere in SA. Like coolers are selling fake products. They make it themselves. How they get it in the country, the ones that they receive in the country, the ones they receive in the country, I have no idea. Right? Cool. So that was one thing that I started noticing when I was checking up on the Spaza shops. Now, because of how people feel, and they are hurt by this, obviously, people want foreigners to be chased out of South Africa. Now, this is where things get tricky, right? Because it sounds easy to say that, right? To just chase them away and stuff like that. And mostly it's because most South Africans are not well traveled. So they don't understand that actually we have South Africans out of South Africa. I was checking stats the other day. We have almost 200 and something thousand people living in the United States, and other hundreds and hundreds of thousands of South Africans living in Asian countries. So South Africans also do go outside of the country, right? Now, if you think about it like that, there's so many international relation issues that you have to consider if you are talking about closing all the shops and taking people away because they are foreigners. Also, another aspect is trying to block them from opening businesses in South Africa because they are foreigners and you want to open the markets for South Africans. I understand it. I get it. I mean, come on, bro. I get it. I get the issue. But as a matter of rules and laws of trades internationally, that's not how you do it, right? You cannot punish everybody for a few people who are doing the wrong things in South Africa. Because now you're going to chase away people who are not involved even in these cases, right? You have someone where the kids died and what's not. It's okay. Close the shop. Do what you have to do. But this is not then to mean everybody has to be chased away from South Africa as a result. Must be careful around that. There's so many issues such as international law, global trade and diplomacy, international political economy. There's just so many things, right? Cultural issues. There's so many things in terms of international relations that you can touch when you do that. And remember again, South African business and South Africans also live overseas, right? I say this because I remember also how it was like for me when I first started moving from South Africa and like living overseas. Like I remember how I'll be characterized in the same basket as just African as everybody else. Like I'm a Nigerian here, I'm a Ghanaian here, as much as I'm South African. To them, it's just the same thing. So whatever Nigerians do, it just affects me the same way because the perception is Africans doing that. So I know how wrong this is, this line the South Africans are trading right now off just because maybe some coolers in Gauteng are doing these bad things. Then you want to punish all the coolers in the country and you want to make their lives hard and stuff like that. So there are issues there. It doesn't work like that. Just as much as South Africans too have rights outside of South Africa in other countries, that they cannot just have their businesses closed because some Nigerians or some other South Africans are fucking up. You see? So it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So that issue. And also, trading, basically, like all these Spaza shops and stuff like that, internationally, there should be some sort of fairness to it when we are trading our skills. So you can't just say, because something is happening, and then you want to punish everybody when it comes to these guys. So I'm very careful around those things. I think people are just mixing up things, understandably, for sure, because people are hurt. I can understand, right? And people are saying local people cannot compete and what's not. Again, failing to compete in the markets, bruh, the truth is the world it's a globe now. So it's just globalization everywhere. So you are going to have to compete internationally, one way or the other, or you're going to go under. That's just it when it comes to that. Of course, the ones who are breaking the rules should actually be taken to jail. Now, another thing, so Ramaphosa passed in like a bill of some sort to get all the spazashop have to be registered now. And people are not happy that some South Africans are helping these foreigners to be registered and whatnot and whatnot. I don't think the issue too was legislation, to begin with. This wasn't the issue. And we keep doing these type of things in SA whereby we fix policy instead of dealing with the actual issue. Going to change policies there on the books doesn't change the issue on the ground. All of a sudden, only now they are thinking of having inspectors. Now we have inspectors inspecting Spaza shops. Where were the inspectors all along? Where were they? Why didn't we have that? Because we should have had inspectors anyway. Why are we having inspectors now? You see, those type of things about SA, So inspection, true. We should have that. And I'm glad to see that there are inspectors everywhere now in the country inspecting spaza shops. And that's what we should have had to tackle the issue. Policy and all these things, but I wasn't really flabbergasted by that. How could I be surprised by that? No, I wasn't. Like, it's expected that Ramaphosa would do something like that, and or the government to try and fix legislation and create rules and of regulations. It's the issue is on the ground. That's where the issue was. And I thought having inspectors and having the spaza shop registered, cool. But are we going to have people who are present there? Like the inspections, are they going to be followed up all the time? And don't let it loose a year later. Now, with that being said, I saw another inspector inspecting a spaza shop. When this inspector was inspecting a spaza shop, he was telling the spaza owner, like, not to put, those plastic bags that we use for our snacks. They were telling the guy, because the guy would take out the sugar from the big sugar pockets, and then he would put into these small plastic things. And the inspector was telling him he shouldn't do that, with the food, to take it out from its original package and put it out and repackage it himself. That is not allowed. He shouldn't do that. I saw that and I thought to myself, people are agreeing with this idea. That's true. I get it. Why are you repackaging this? Because this is how we get sick and what's not. I get it. But people forget. This another thing. South Africans sometimes, because we live in different worlds, people forget that repackaging of that sugar is a result of affordance. People being unable to afford. Some South Africans unable to afford a bag of sugar that is worth 15, 20 rand. And then they are able to buy the 5 rand things or 2 rand things that they are sold in these small pockets. That's how the business happened. The reason this guy is having that is because people cannot afford. They prefer to buy that small thing instead of buying a pocket of sugar that is worth 20 rand. That's the real issue here. Now you can shout and pretend, why are you repackaging this? At the end of the day, the reason of repackaging is because you cannot afford the actual price of the sugar. We are not living in the first world country, guys. Let's not get things twisted, right? It's still live in South Africa. This is still the third world country. We have so many issues when it comes to that. So many things. It's easy now for South Africans to just, jump on the game and just chase the spazas away. It's easy, but there's so many issues that I had for me. I think also because I live overseas, I understand international relations. Maybe this is why I have this different take about this, and I'm careful on jumping on to say, all the spaza should go, because I look at the facts. The fact is, the issues are in Gauteng, Ekurhuleni, Gauteng generally, Joburg, Ekurhuleni, and what was the name? The Westrand. That's where the issues are. Not the whole of South Africa as it is presented. But then I've been wondering, why is it presented like to make me feel like this issue is in the whole of South Africa? I've been wondering about that. Then I asked myself, actually, I wouldn't be surprised because I know the game, bro. Hey, I know this game, dog. I know the game. I would not be surprised if ShopRite is behind the agenda that is being pushed around spaza shops. I would not be surprised if ShopRite is pushing ShopRite USave into the spaza shop space. I would not be surprised. I would never be surprised by that. It's the game, bro.